Retro Gamers, and Tarper here from Retro-gamescollector.com, and I've got some exciting news. I was filmed for Andy Remmick's new upcoming documentary film about the Spectrum called Spectrum Addict, and that happened over at the Centre for Computing History in Cambridge 2 weekends ago. Basically, I haven't said anything up until now because I've been waiting to for it to be sort of made official on the website, on his website. All the details are below. So it's quite exciting to be in the same film as people like Rick Dickinson, the bloke who designed, did the industrial design for Sinclair and came up with the ZX80, ZX81, ZX Spectrum, Spectrum Plus, QL, and Spectrum Plus 128, all of which are iconic designs, and to be in the same film as people such as him is quite an honour. So I'm quite chuffed about that, to be honest. The film itself is a full-length feature-length documentary all about the Spectrum. It basically covers the design of the Spectrum, the history of the Spectrum, the developers, the games, and the fans, which is where people like me came in, and that's why we were filmed. You look at the lineup in this film, and it's tremendous. He's got, literally everybody who's anybody is in this film. So to be in it's a really, really big honour, and I'm chuffed to bits, to be honest. It was a great day out. Went over with my mate Will, and we visited a few places while we were there. We visited 25 Willis Road, which is where Sinclair was based, in Cambridge, or one of the places it was based, and we also visited 6 Kings Parade, had our photographs taken outside each. So it was a bit of a Sinclair pilgrimage for us, as Will's a big Sinclair, or massive Sinclair fan as well. So it was a really big thing for us to find these iconic buildings, and have photos took outside. It sounds a bit sad, but if you're into retro gaming and the ZX Spectrum in particular, as much as we are, then it's a big deal. Yeah, so look out for that. I'll put the details below for the website, which is like a blog, and he updates it with the people that he's interviewed. He interviewed Rick Dickinson just before he interviewed us, literally the same day, which is just, I still can't get over the fact that I'm in the same film as Rick Dickinson, about the Specky, which really is a big honour. And I don't think that we sort of rate as highly as Rick Dickinson in Andy's reckoning, quite rightly so. So I think, and I think that's why we haven't actually got onto the website yet, because he doesn't want Rick Dickinson to stop being at top spots. So it may be a while yet before we're put on, if we put on at all. But if we are, then we'll appear on his blog page. The details below. I'll also put details below for the pre-order page for the film. The more people that pre-order, the better the film will be, because obviously he's got more money to spend on it, the more people he can interview, etc. So if you've got any interest at all in Sinclair or the ZX Spectrum in particular, this film is definitely for you. It'll be a fantastic film. I'm not just saying that because I'm in it. In fact, I'm probably one of the downsides of the film, I would imagine, but there you go. I'm in it now, so bad luck. Yeah, so if you're even slightly interested in the ZX Spectrum, even if your mate's had one, you're still going to find this film fun to watch, I think. So the details are below for the pre-order page. Like I say, the more people pre-order, the better the film will be. So go ahead and order yourself a copy. I've got a few other bits and bobs to show you, not a lot really this time round. I've been retro-briting, guys. Yeah. Now I didn't mix my own. I cheated. There are recipes on the internet for Retr0briting. If you don't know what Retr0briting is, it's basically a paste, a peroxide paste that you put onto your old computers. You paint onto your old computers. You leave them out in the sunshine for a while, and it basically brings your computer colour back to how it used to be. It stops the yellow. It gets rid of the yellowing on your computer cases. I did several of my machines, and they all come out great. One in particular was really bad. I will put pictures up in a while, shortly, and show you just how bad it was. But first I will show you the others I did. This, I'll get back to what Retr0briting is. It's a paste that you can make up with a recipe that's freely available on the internet, or you can cheat like I did, and you can get yourself some Bee Blonde from Superdrug or Boots or any place like that. Loads of places sell it. It's not very expensive, only a couple of quid a bottle. And you basically paint that on. Take your console casing apart first of all, because you don't want to get that stuff over everything. You just want it on the affected parts. So take your computer or your console apart, paint this stuff onto the affected piece of casing. Cover it in cling film. That's basically to stop it from drying out too quickly in the sun. You want this stuff to be working as long as possible on it, so you want it to stay in liquid form, or in paste form, shall I say, on the surface as long as possible. If it dries out too quickly, then it stops working, and it can give you patchy results then. So I suggest that if you are going to do it, to keep checking on it. Cover it in cling film. Like I say, if it looks like it's going to dry out, take the cling film off, paint some more on, make sure it stays wet basically. Cover it back over in cling film. Make sure the cling film goes right the way around and is sealed all the way around, so no air can get in, because that will just stop it from drying out a lot better than just covering it over the top. And after, I had a really good sunny day to do it on, and I could see the results after 1.5 hours in the sun. It had done mine, but I've heard people have had to leave them out there for a good 6-7 hours before anything's happened. I think it depends on the severity of the yellowing. But this is not my Super Famicom, just my Famicom. After I Retr0brited it. Now this was quite yellow, and as you can see, it's lovely and white again now. I'm really chuffed. I'll just take the disk system thingy off the top so you can see it a bit better. In fact, I don't know whether you can see that. If you look inside the cartridge slot, you can see how yellowed it is inside there, where I didn't paint enough of it in, or the sunlight didn't get to it enough. It's a lot yellower in there, look. And that basically is what it was like all over. You're safe to paint it over the top of things like this. It doesn't affect metal labels, or indeed it doesn't affect any plasticky things, to be honest. So these labels were fine. I painted straight over the top of them. In fact, if you look very closely, you can see just underneath those labels is slightly yellower than around it, but on the whole it's done a good job. I'm very, very pleased. So that will go back on display now and look quite nice on top of the disk system. This was only slightly yellowed, but that's come up beautiful and white now, my PC Engine. And I also did the PC Engine pad, this was quite yellowed, and this has come up lovely and white as well. I also did my Dragon 32. That was really yellowed down towards the front, where it had obviously been left in the sun, left inside in a drawer or something with the drawer front open or something, because it was only yellowed down this end. And the underside was nice and light. It's meant to be sort of a fawny colour, like a creamy, beigey cream colour. So it's the same all over now. It's really done a lovely job. I can't recommend doing this enough, to be honest. If you've got any yellowed computers that you don't like the look of anymore, just take them apart, stick your Retr0briting on, leave them out in the sun, covered in cling film for a few hours, and hey presto, it's looking good again. Now this one, I'm going to put some pictures now of just how bad it was for you to see. And this is it now. As you can see, back to its original colour. Even the keys are back to their original colour. You saw how yellowed everything was. I mean, this blue, you couldn't tell it was blue. This was like a really dark orange, and the arrows on there weren't white, they were yellow basically. The whole machine was yellow. Now I think half of that was nicotine stain, because when I had this particular MZ700, it absolutely stunk of smoking. It stunk of cigarettes. I mean, really bad. I mean, it was terrible. I had to fumigate the thing. I had to leave the thing outside and spray it with various products to try and stop it from smelling quite so badly. It was that bad. So I think half of it was nicotine, but it was yellowed as well, obviously through age. And it's done an absolutely beautiful job. It's brought it back to new again. It really is, just looks like new again. So I'm really chuffed with that. I really didn't think that I could get it from that original yellowed mess to back to this again. I thought this was a lost cause. I didn't think in a million years I'd get it looking right again, but it worked. So it works even on really badly yellowed machines, which I'm both amazed and very pleased about. A couple of purchases. One in particular, really good one. Galactic Troopers, more ZX81 things. Lothlorien, I collect Lothloriens, Roman Empire for the ZX81. And a Pixel Game, Subspace Striker. And this one, I've only wanted this since I was about 12. 11 or 12, I've wanted this. Cassette 4, it doesn't look much, does it? But believe me, when I was 11, I saw this in the magazines. It kept being advertised in the backs of magazines, and I desperately wanted this, and I never got it. And it's took till now, 2016, for me to get a copy of Cassette 4 by Michael Orwin Software. I can't even tell you how much I coveted that when I was a kid, and now I've got it finally. It's only took 30 odd years to actually get a copy, and that, I think, is about that. So if you like what you see, click on the old thumbs up for me, please. If you like the channel, please subscribe. I'm really grateful to all my subscribers for being loyal and staying with me, and indeed, if you like anything or want to see anything that I'm not showing, or if you indeed you hate something that I'm doing, just comment in the comments below, and I'll try not to be rude back to you. In the meantime, guys, I'll see you next time. Keep it retro.